Did you guys know that Donald Trump said something about killing people today? About killing Congress people? Did you guys hear about it? Pepperidge Farm heard about it. This is from Gavin Newsom saying, the president of the United States of America just called for the death of Democratic lawmakers. He reposted this. There's a post that says, hang them George Washington would, followed by seditious behavior punishable by death. 11/20/2025, 7:21 in the morning. My boy Donald is awake at 7:21 in the morning on the bathroom, taking a shit, scrolling through social truth and saying that as the president of the United States, that somebody needs to be punished by death. This is our president of the freaking country. This is the president of the country, bro. Like, can you guys get that through your heads? Like, he is a president, top official, United States of America. I know there's a lot of stuff that's happening that's kind of crazy. And he's tweeting that this behavior is punishable. There's a president who is tweeting that people of Congress, I know it sounds absurd because there's been so many absurd things, but I feel like I have to keep saying it, right? Has it locked in? I keep saying it over and over because sometimes the absurdity gets desynthesized because of how absurd he is. But I'm going to say it one more time. It's the president of the United States, the top dog, is calling for death for actual American people. Brother, father, sister. So I think Pam Bondi or something talked about it. They talked about that whole situation. So there's two things. There's a couple clips. This one right here is Levitt talking about the piggy situation. Remember Donald Trump called somebody a piggy?
Tomorrow, and I'll let the president speak for himself. Natalie.
Thank you, Caroline. What did the president mean when he called a reporter piggy?
Look, the president is very frank and honest with everyone in this room. You've all seen it yourself. You've all experienced it yourselves. And I think it's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness. And he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him and his administration. But he also is the most transparent president in history. And he gives all of you in this room, as you all know, unprecedented access.
I'm done. We're cooked. We are so cooked. She asked, what do you think about Donald Trump calling a person piggy? And she said, we all like his frankness. And also, we're transparent. Her job, to be honest, is to gaslight for the president. Like, literally, I think her literal job for her is to gaslight for the president. That's all it is. Her and Mike Johnson, that's all I felt like I've been feeling is like somebody just lying, bro. Why you always lying? I have lost so much faith. I've been losing faith in the government for a long time, way before the Trump administration. But these past, how do you restore your faith and trust in the government after this point? The corruption of the government is so deep that I don't know where one head begins and the other one ends. We got so many Congress people that are bought out by big businesses, lobbyists, Israel, Saudi Arabia. They're on paychecks. We got people on Russia paychecks, bro. We got people in our government getting paid by other countries to vote and do the things that they want to do to push the agendas they want to push. There is no independence. So in accounting, whenever you're auditing a company, there's this thing called financial independence. And when you are trying to figure out roles that are, sorry, not financial independence, it's something else independence. You're trying to figure out, do people actually have independence as in separation of duties? Okay. Separation of duties, independence is essentially like, does the person who collects the money also spend the money, right? So you create gaps so that happens. And they try to do that in the government. That's why they have 3 different branches, right? They try to do it. But the problem is that the government, here's the government, and then here's companies, right? We're currently in a situation where we have an oligarchy, okay? Where the government and companies are minted together. You literally have Donald Trump being backed by Zuckerberg, being backed by Bezos, being backed by Musk, okay? The government and the companies are now one. But the role of the government was to create a separation between so that they can regulate the companies. So What the fuck? We're cooked. I cannot think of a way that you untwist this, because as long as the government is incentivized by companies, then no one's going to, they're not going to incentivize themselves. This is not going to, I don't think that's going to change. The people in the government or people running for office are not going to say, yeah, let's stop getting paid. Let's make sure that we only get $100K a year. Let's lower our standard of living. They're not going to do that. I don't want to accept money from big companies. No, I vote no. Like, that's just not going to happen.
You are in the Oval Office almost every day asking the president questions. And so I think the president being frank and open and honest to your faces rather than hiding behind your backs is frankly a lot more respectful than what you saw in the last administration, where you had a president who lied to your face and then didn't speak to you for weeks and hid upstairs and didn't take your questions. So I think everyone in this room should appreciate the frankness and the openness that you get from President Trump on a near daily basis.
She said, you should feel glad that Trump addresses you as piggy. You should be glad. In fact, you're ungrateful. You're an ungrateful pig for the fact that I didn't come to you and call you piggy. And then blame the Democrats. And then also, bro, here's another one.
They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders. Every single illegal.
So I think this has to do. Did you guys hear about the what is it? One of you guys were telling me something about the. Let me think if I can remember. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think Trump was trying to use the military. And the military called in and was like, yo, is this lawful? And then that's when Trump talked about hanging niggas. I got to find an article, but it was something to the extent of Trump trying to use the military for his purposes. We're going out of order while we're watching the clips, but I'll bring it all together. But this is what led to him saying this, because Trump likes to try to use the military unlawfully. But I think one of the military members called in to kind of figure out like, hey, are we good? Is this what we should be doing? He didn't like that. And then I think they're saying that whatever the president says is lawful.
They're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful. And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And
she said every single thing that Donald Trump has said out of his mouth when it comes to commanding the military has been lawful. It's mainly about using military on ships in Venezuela, which you need Congress to do that. What up, Cerebus? Previous military members said that it was an oath to a constitution to follow lawful orders, not unlawful. Military vet myself and know the oath well, yes. But Trump is trying his best to basically use the military as his own, and that's why he has ICE to kind of like operate independently. There is let me see here. So it reads, Trump condemned by Democrats after he accuses 6 lawmakers of seditious behavior. Top Democrats in Congress called for President Trump to be condemned forcefully after he said on social media that Democratic lawmakers who urged members of the military to disobey illegal orders should be arrested and face trial for seditious behavior, saying that Democratic lawmakers who urged members of the military to disobey illegal orders. So we're not talking about disobey orders. We have Democratic lawmakers telling the military to not disobey illegal orders. But she's saying that any order that's coming from the president is lawful. The president said in a later post, seditious behavior, punishable by death. He also reported, hang them, George Washington would. Again, that's where that came from in the beginning. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Why do we have a president, again, telling people to die? Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, speaking from the Senate floor Thursday morning, said the President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials. Schumer called it an outright threat that is deadly serious. Here's the thing. When Trump is tweeting and saying, hang them, punishable by death, right? You need to listen to this nigga, right? Like, people try to kind of just be like, he just said a thing, he didn't mean it. And people have been doing that with Trump since the beginning. He's just joking. He just said it. He doesn't mean it. He just said it. He doesn't mean it. He just said it. He doesn't mean it. And people are just going to say he says it. He doesn't mean it into infinity until he dies. And they're like, oh shit, he really meant it. If anything, Donald Trump has done almost everything that he said. So like, you're not supposed to like, don't, that's crazy, man. Even as a joke, that's crazy. Mr. Trump's post came in response to a video featuring Sins, Mark Keller of Arizona, Illicit of Michigan, along with Rep Jays of Colorado, Chris Hallahan, Maggie, blah, blah, blah. In the video, the lawmakers who are veterans and former national security officials cited threats to the Constitution while urging service members and members of the intelligence community to refuse illegal. What is this video?
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
Correct.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army.
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So Trump was like, what the fuck? Kill him. Trump saw this clip and said, kill him. he said, kill him. Cerberus. Yep, he violates the constitutional law and then kicks it to the Supreme Court while military members have to follow UCMJ, which means do not follow unlawful orders, but left in the wind not knowing what's lawful or not with this administration. Shit. So these guys, these congressmen are basically trying to get the people of the military. They're trying to say, hey, you do not have to follow unlawful orders. They're trying to give the military members who are kind of confused about what they should or should not be doing. And that's not good because Trump is the commander and leader of the military. So if he loses his power over the military, that's a large amount of power. It's questioning his authority. And that makes Trump very mad when his authority is questioned. When he can't just, you don't just do what he says because what he says is what you need to do, then you're in trouble. Okay? You're in trouble. I guarantee you that Trump is not thinking about the laws when he tells people what to do or what not to do. He's thinking about himself. And I'm pretty sure he's broken lots of laws. To suggest that he is just out here just following everything by the book is absolutely crazy. You said, man, all because one guy was too nearsighted to make this whole thing stop, bro. People are saying, look, people are saying that was a hoax. People are saying that the Charlie Kirk thing is a hoax. People are saying a lot of shit. But all I know is that when you have an administration that's constantly lying and gaslighting to you, it makes it so that you can't figure out what is true or false. We are entering a dystopian future with AI, lies, politics, companies, corruption. We got spies. We got all this bullshit. We're getting to a place where there's no source to trust. Even the podcast, like independent media is so important. People who are trying to find information and discern the truth without being paid by some type of corporation to tell you what it is that they're doing, it's impossible. Nah, I'm good, young Lex. I don't think I want to do that. What up, Cerberus? Had a captain follow unlawful order and then was thrown under the bus higher rank that gave the order. Dishonorable discharge. Oh my God. So you telling me that captains, you're getting honorably discharged for not following unlawful orders. And then you're losing your entire livelihood for it. Doesn't help that the Coast Guard now won't classify nooses. The Confederate and WW2 Germany symbols as hate symbols? They're not classifying nooses? What do you mean? The U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas and nooses as hate symbols? Nah, there's some different information. Come on, bro. Coast Guard disputes claim its new guidelines no longer consider swastikas and nooses hate symbols. The Coast Guard says suggestions it is no longer prohibits extremist imagery like swastikas are categorically false. The U.S. Coast Guard reportedly no longer considers swastika nooses or the Confederate flag to be hate symbols, according to forthcoming guidelines obtained by the Washington Post, though the service branch denies changing its stance towards such imagery. Under the guidelines reported by the paper, these symbols will instead be considered potentially divisive imagery, though flying the Confederate flag will remain banned. We don't deserve the trust of the nation if we're unclear about the divisiveness of swastikas, an announcement Coast Guard official who has seen the alleged guidelines told the paper. Bro, haven't y'all seen that joint with Brad Pitt? Inglourious Bastards? I thought that was just like the American way, where you saw swastikas and you was like, what the fuck? The Coast Guard strongly disputed that it was softening its policy towards these symbols. The claims that the U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas, nooses, or other extremist imagery as prohibited symbols are categorically false. Admiral Kevin Lundy, acting commander of the U.S. Coast Guard, said in the statement of the Independent, these symbols have been and remain prohibited in the Coast Guard per policy. Any display, use, or promotion of such symbols as always will be thoroughly investigated and severely punished. Okay, so mixed signals on that. I don't know why we're getting our lines crossed on that, but some mixed signals on that. But I don't know why people are getting their lines crossed on this. Anyway, back to Trump. Holland said in an interview, this is the President of the United States calling for the death of a member of Congress, 6 members of Congress, and that is different brand of political violence and political retribution. Schumer told reporters at the Capitol that he asked for special Capitol Police protection for Senators Slotkin and Kelly. He said every American, regardless of party, should condemn the president's words immediately and without qualification, adding, if we don't draw a line here, there is no line to draw. He must be condemned forcefully, loudly, and without excuses before someone takes his words as permission to do the unthinkable. Anything less enables the flames of hatred to grow and spread. Democratic leaders in the House likewise condemned what they call the disgusting and dangerous death threats against members of Congress, calling on Republicans to do the same. The Democrats said that they have been in contact with the House Sergeant at Arms of the United States Capitol Police to ensure the safety of these members and their families. Chat, are there any of you guys who are kind of looking at this information and not taking it literally? Is there any of you guys who are thinking that this is kind of like a fantasy? Because sometimes when I'm reading this, I'm like, this can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. And after so many, like, it can't be reals, you have to kind of like take down those layers and recognize that this is literally fucking happening, right? Like, I think a lot of people are trying to cope. I feel like a lot of people are trying to cope. Like, do any of you guys know people who hear this and they're just kind of like disconnected from it? Have you guys met people like that? They're just like, you don't mean it. It's not a thing. This is like literally a fucking thing. Donald Trump must immediately delete these unhinged social media posts and recant his violent rhetoric before he gets someone killed. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic Whip Catherine Clark, and Democratic Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar said in a joint statement. House Speaker Mike Johnson initially declined to criticize the president's remarks, telling reporters it's wildly inappropriate for lawmakers to encourage members of the military to disobey orders. Not orders, unlawful orders, illegal orders. Of course you would decline to comment, bro. Did Pondy respond to this? Was there anybody else that talked about this? White House says that Trump wasn't calling for the execution of...
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way. You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders.
No, you fucking liar. You fucking liar. Oh my God.
The sanctity...
Oh my Lord. There's no way. This piece of work. We just saw the video.
We know professional.
You all right now.
Our laws refuse illegal orders.
Refuse illegal orders.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Illegal orders. Illegal orders. Illegal orders. And instead, she says...
them to defy the president's lawful orders.
Fucking liar. It's just lies on fucking lies on fucking lies. Nobody said anything about defying the president's lawful orders. And now she is claiming that that's what they said and that's what they did. And that's not what they did at all.
The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos and to suggest.
My friend, the chain itself has been leading to people getting killed. Okay. It's the fact that that chain of command actually exists that people have been getting killed. Okay. Come on. What do you mean?
And encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And
they should be held accountable. So are you justifying? She's literally saying that they should be held accountable. She's agreeing with the president. The idea here, she's literally agreeing that the president, that they should be held accountable, and they were responding directly to the fact that this was a dangerous thing. And so the president's saying that this needs to be condemned by death, right? Death. So it's not about that the president of the United States was talking about like something else. Like, whoops, he was actually referring to this other TikTok that he saw. It was literally the...
Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
no. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to.
She said, no, the president doesn't want to execute Congress, and yet he fucking tweeted death. What the fuck? Stop lying. You're lying. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, you are lying. He said what he said, and you're twisting everything. Why can't we get people who fucking tell the truth?
Because that chain of command is broken. It can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos, and to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And that's what the president wants to see. If this were Republican.
He said they should be held accountable, and that's what the president wants to see. And he said death while retweeting another tweet that said hang. Nah, fuck you. Fuck you. That's exactly what he said. No one's misunderstanding it, bro. This is disgusting. This is disgusting.
Members of Congress who were encouraging members of the military and members of our United States government to defy orders from the president and from the chain of command.
Unlawful orders.
This entire room would be up in arms, but instead it is the other way around. And
oh my God, these guys are professional gaslighters. Point being is TLDR. Trump called for the death of 6 to 7 Congress people who came out and said, hey, military, don't follow any unlawful illegal orders. And then Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, said, actually, these people are dangerous. They said, don't follow orders, period. And she just lied. Okay. That's the TLDR. And that's the reality that we live in. Trump is calling for the death of Congress people. The press secretary is lying for him. Mike Johnson's not responding. And that's the end of the story. That's it. You're probably thinking, so what now? Are there any consequences? Are there repercussions? Are there any kind of There's none. That's it. TLDR. Welcome to Thursday. I low-key think all this is bad is a good thing. It'll make people think more critically in the future. You know, maybe pick a third option. But plus, I believe we overdue for mass negatives so that we burst in goodness virtues and can prepare. So the thing that I honestly think, chat, is what I'm feeling is with the whole Epstein files, the ratings and the polls for Trump right now, even on Fox News, is like 30%, something like really bad. Apparently, this is Fox News polling showing that it's in favor of 30%. I think again, this is turning into a house of cards. People are seeing the cracks in the armor, the Epstein files. A lot of people be like, okay, maybe this is not how things were supposed to go. But the problem is that the majority of the people are going to go with the status quo, because it doesn't matter how awful Donald Trump is, as long as he supports the things that you want as a person. Does that make sense? The issue, and this is the whole concept between, Democrats, Republicans, progressive, conservatives. Conservatives, let's conserve. Progressive, let's progress. And then you have moderates or whatever, right? But the problem is that as long as you're team red, you're getting the thing that you want somewhere down the line. I think the problem here is that the optics are looking kind of bad with the whole Epstein files. The optics are looking really bad. And it's getting to the point where defending Donald Trump and this type of shit is getting harder and harder. If he was just chilling, then he'd probably get everything. But because he's being so extreme and dictatorial, people are like, what the fuck? Right? And of course, you got some people who are cool with him being a dictator. They want him to become a dictator. But then there's other people that I think are kind of like, wait a minute. I didn't think Donald Trump would go this far. And then people are hurting. The thing is, people still wouldn't care, but now their pockets are hurting, right? Groceries is going up. Inflation is up. The rich people are getting richer. Poor people are getting poorer. Middle class is getting destroyed. Gen Z won't be able to buy any houses. You will only be able to rent. Millennials aren't going to be able to retire. So people are like, what the fuck? Anyway, that's the Donald Trump one.